Howdy, folks. Hope everybody's doing well today. I've got some sort of news and something I wanted to talk about today, and that's taking medicine. As the title says, I am not the biggest fan of taking medicine, especially recently, because I've had to deal with this thing on my face. It's a cyst. If you know what a cyst is, it's like a giant pimple or giant zit. You can think of it, but it's really hard to get to because it's really underneath your skin. There's no real like way to get it besides making an incision and popping it yourself. And I went to the doctor for that. Of course, I didn't I didn't actually want to do that myself, but I've been dealing with that for the past week, and I was put on some antibiotics to help with the pain because it was really painful. It was stretching the skin out of my face. It was so big. I've had this thing on my face since like fourth grade. It's been forever. I've talked about it on stream a little bit, about a week ago or so, and I finally got it checked. It got infected and blew up like a balloon. Like literally, think of like a bump the size of your thumb, maybe, and then times that by four. That's how big that thing got. It was huge. But since last week, it's gone down quite a lot. I've drained it a good bit, and the medicine has helped quite a lot with getting it back to normal size and hopefully getting rid of it. I hope it comes off my face. But throughout time, taking medicine, I'm not the type of person that has to take like a daily medicine. I don't take any vitamins. I don't have any like prescription drugs that I have to take throughout, my normal daily life. I know a lot of people do that have some type of maybe uh, illness that they have, or autoimmune system maybe, or like maybe they use it for or they take stuff for like mood stabilizers, stuff like that. I don't have to take any of that. I would say a normal, healthy, individual that doesn't really have to take medicine throughout their days, unless they get sick or something like this happens where I have to, cure something that's on my face, I guess. And for those who want to know what I'm taking, any doctors that are listening, um, I am taking cyclin Hyclate. I have no clue what this is. I honestly don't. I just know it's an antibiotic and it helps with the pain and also draining the cyst off my face. Now the problem I've had with this thing is, you're supposed to take this stuff twice a day, in the morning and kind of in the evening, and you're supposed to, take it on an empty stomach or have like a little bit of food with it in case you get a bad tummy ache. And this morning, I've been taking this for about 5, 6 days now. This morning I took it and I had a muffin, and next thing I knew, I threw up really bad, like so bad. And I was like, what the fuck? Like all I did was take my pill and eat a muffin. And I think I, figured out, kind of self-diagnosed what the problem was. I had some cereal last night at like 2 a.m. and then I went straight to sleep, so it probably didn't digest very well. I don't think food digests well at all when you lay down right before you go to sleep. Um, so that was probably part of it. And then the other part was I had a salad from work, and our salads aren't the best. And when I threw up, I realized two things. One, the color changed when I threw up. I had like one phase of throwing up, and it was like purple and kind of white from the cereal I had last night. And then I threw up again, like right after that, and it turned dark green. I was like, that is really concerning. Like that was scary as fuck. And I think the pill just kind of erupted that in my stomach, which is just kind of annoying. It's like if I wasn't taking this pill, I wouldn't have thrown up. I probably just would have had a small stomach ache from eating a salad, which I sometimes normally do from work. I gotta stop eating the salads, man. They for some reason they expire so quick. Like the date was the 26th and today's the 22nd, and I'm like, why did it I have such a bad reaction? It's not even expired. So I gotta watch out for those salads. But I just wanted to eat something healthier that's not, Domino's pizza, because I work at Domino's and that's all I usually eat when I'm at work. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of medicine though. When I have to take it, it kind of sucks. I remember when I had like strep throat forever ago, sometime during high school. I think it was like 2016 or something like that. I had like the worst case of strep throat. It was so bad. I was sick for at least like a month. But those first like 2 weeks were brutal. I had such a bad cough. I had a really high fever, and I remember like there was a almost like chip feeling in my throat, like I couldn't swallow well, and it was disgusting. It was nasty, and the only thing I had was like NyQuil, so I just downed like over a week and a half like 2 bottles of NyQuil just to pass out and go to sleep because I couldn't go to sleep. I was coughing so bad. And I just hate the feeling of some of those medicines. Like nighttime medicine really sucks. I feel so groggy and slow, like I can't think straight. Um, and I can't like do anything. I have like no energy in my body. There was also the time where I had what was it? I had like a bacterial infection in my lungs during COVID, of course. So people thought I had COVID. And I had to go to the hospital because they wouldn't give me antibodies. So when I went, they figured out it wasn't COVID. It was just bacteria in my lungs, and they pumped me full of all sorts of stuff with an IV tube, and it was so bad my hand turned purple, like where the IV tube was in, and I remember just like feeling almost worse before I got better when I went home. Obviously, like I stopped, having breathing problems because my lungs are getting attacked. I could actually breathe normally without a what oxidizer, whatever the thing is that they put on your face. Um, like I felt better from that, but I still was like super groggy for the next 2 weeks, 2, 3 weeks, maybe even a month. That sickness was pretty serious. As you've probably noticed over this conversation, when I get sick, it's pretty bad. Like it's bad. I did get sick, I think a month ago or so, maybe a month and a half ago. If you guys remember, I made a video about that and just how it sucks to be sick as an adult. But that was kind of like a small cold, I would say. I was pretty lucky it wasn't anything else because I probably would have been out for like a whole week, which would have been really bad, especially during those slow months of February and like January. But yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for those people that have to take super like intense medicines. I know one of my friends who she has autism. She usually gets her medication changed every couple years or so, and there's like a growing pains period where your body has to like get used to the medicine, and I feel like just as like my opinion as an individual, having a medicine come into your body and like change the way it works sometimes, especially if your body's like fine on its own, really like messes things up. I don't really like that. I mean, there's plenty of speculation and all sorts of stigma around medicine, big pharma and all that. I'm not one of those guys to be like, no, you should not take medicine, or no, you shouldn't get a vaccine or anything. Like I got my vaccine during COVID, but you should at least be careful what you put in your body. I think, unless it's like an emergency, like mine, I guess, or you have, underlying, like I said in the beginning of the video, you have underlying disorders or illnesses of some type that you need those things to live normally, or at least like semi-normally, so you can at least not go crazy or die from an autoimmune system or something like that. But it just, I don't know. I feel bad for people that do have to have those things. Because I don't really like taking pills either. I fucking hate taking pills. Not as bad as needles. I think needles, or other way around, I can't really stand needles like all that much at all. I get really queasy and like pass out from needles. Luckily, I haven't had any for the last like 4 years, but pills are kind of like second worst thing where I can't swallow pills super well. I've gotten better at it, but I was like refusal of pills up until I was maybe like 20 years old. So yeah, I'm just like not the biggest fan of medicine, especially when it makes me throw up like it did this morning. But I'm doing okay. That's fine. I only got to take these for another couple days or so by the end of the week, and then hopefully this thing's gone off my face. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about medicine at all, or have any stories of sicknesses or illnesses, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.